Alright, so if you're watching this, you probably saw my ad on Facebook for this 2001 Chevy Corvette. This is not the Z06 or the FRC, it's just the standard coupe. So first off, this, I don't know if I put it in my post, I do have the Z06 wheels on here. The tires on these wheels are also pretty new. They've got a lot of life on them. I put them on fairly recently. So in this video, I'm pretty much making this video so I can cover everything that I think is wrong with this car, so that when you come and see the car in person, you won't be surprised at all. This is an R title, as I have on the post. So I think it's extra important that I'm very transparent with everything involving this car. So first thing I want to look at is this Corsa exhaust here. It sounds amazing. My brother has a C6 Corvette, and we both agree mine sounds better. Now, the only problem here, and I think you can see it, these little cracks right here. One here, one here. And because of that, the exhaust hangs a little bit lower than it should, and it can make a clanging sound when you drive it up and down my driveway, which is absolutely disgusting. It's pretty much rocks and mud the whole way, but I take it very slow, but still my car gets dirty all the time. Okay, that's the first problem with this car. Second problem, I guess, is the turn signals. They kind of want to work, and when they don't, they just decide not to. Now, this light here in the front, this one is out. I need to replace that. It was on the list of things to do, but I decided to sell the car a bit ago, so that's kind of how that is. And I'm checking my list here to make sure I've got everything I can think of. Yeah, let's go around. There is some paint correction on this car, and I want to show you all that. Okay, so, and I'm really sorry for this bad video quality. Again, I know I hate YouTube videos that have crappy video quality, but you can probably see a little bit of this. It's not right here. That's just a little bit of, oh no, maybe a little bit. Okay, so this is some of the paint correction that was done to it. The previous owner did all of this. I actually didn't know about this at the time when I got the car. It was nighttime, it was raining, I couldn't really see anything. Also, I'm colorblind, so I'm not really good with colors. And then if you see right here, you might be able to see a difference in shade between this panel here, the trunk lid or the hatch lid, and then these two the rear panel here and the side panel here. You see how these are a little bit darker and this is a little bit lighter. Because it's an R title, I think it was in a rear collision of some sort, and I believe these two were replaced. I'm still talking to my state representative about everything that went on with the title. I have the title in hand. It's just simply that I believe the previous owner title washed this car, because when I bought it, it had a clean title, and I paid clean title money for this car. And then when I had the title transferred into PA, I found out that it was in fact a reconstructed title. So I kind of got screwed over a little bit there. But I'm trying to be as transparent as I can, just because I know how bad that sucks when you get screwed over here. Okay, so that was a little bit of the paint correction. That's all of the spots that I know of right now. They're actually pretty small. Okay, now additionally, this car does burn a little bit of oil. It's not that uncommon for a Corvette. This, 20 years old with 70,000 miles on it. Just pop in the hatch here. So what I do is I just keep a container of oil right there. And I just, whenever says, I check the oil pretty regularly. And when it says it's low, I just fill it. I'm going to leave that pop just for now. Additionally, and about the burning oil, it really isn't bad. Like I said in the post, I would drive this car across the country at a moment's notice, not even worrying about it. Okay, so another thing, see this headliner moves up and down? Yeah, it's not great, but it's not really a big problem. It just does that. I thought about replacing it. As far as I know, it's not terribly hard. You do have to pull the whole thing down. I just never really got around to it. And then if you look on top of the sun visors here, and this is kind of hard to do with like one hand, they're not actually screwed in for whatever reason. They're a little loose. And I don't know why, but I don't really use them that much. And quite frankly, this thing spent a lot of time, the whole top of this Target top spent a lot of time in the trunk because I drove with this piece in the trunk a lot just because it's so enjoyable. I think that's one of the big pluses about this car. Also, you may have noticed, see this driving seat here? This is a Corbeau. I believe it's the DFX1. I do have the original seats for this car. It's in perfect condition. It's sitting next to a couple of the chairs in our basement. We do have a finished basement, so it's not like a dingy basement where it's getting moldy. So the driver's seat, I still have it. It comes with the car. I prefer the driving seat. So I put that in, and then the passenger seat I left the same. And it's in very good condition as well. And I know it's black on black. It's not very easy to see, especially with the dim lighting here. The whole interior is in pretty good shape. There's really nothing wrong with it. As I try to sit in here. Okay. Now, one thing you will notice, the head unit was replaced. I didn't do that. That's the previous owner. It works. It's got Bluetooth connection, which is, pretty nice. Yeah, the sound in here in this car is pretty good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then down here, we have our traction control selector modes here. There's touring, sport, performance. The whole switch here is actually it's disabled right now. So I don't know if you know, but if you know a lot about Corvettes, or you've been looking for a C5 Corvette for a while now, you may have noticed that a lot of the Corvettes with the electric suspension or the magnetic ride suspension, they go bad almost religiously at 60,000 miles. When I bought this car, it had 62,000 miles, and it was bad. You could feel it when you drove it. So I replaced the stock suspension with C6 Z06 shocks. So I took out the old electro magnetic shocks, and I put in C6 Z06 shocks. And what I did was, because the electric shocks or the stock Corvette shocks are, they're electronic and they have wires going to them. So what I did is I took the shock wire, and I might be able to show you this here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Trying to get, I'm sorry about this. It's really hard to see here. It's better if I do this in person, but so what I did, and no, you're not going to be able to see it. Basically what I'm trying to tell you is everything I did is reversible. You could put the stock shocks back on if you want to get them. I decided not to go with the stock shocks on this car because they are like, they're like $1,500 or more for a new set of shocks. And the C6 Z06 shocks for this car are a perfect fit. They're a direct match, and they really stiffened up the ride of this car. I mean, this car handles like it's on rails. They were like $400, which, believe it or not, I don't know why they were cheaper. And the shocks I have on this they're not some aftermarket thing from China. They're actual OEM GM parts. So, what else do we have here? Headliner, paint, burns oil. Not much though. Oh yeah, okay. So, the one that I would say the biggest thing that's wrong with this car, and it's really not a huge issue. So, again, going back to how much you know about C5. So, with all C5 Corvettes, they all have problems with their steering column lock system. The steering column locks on these cars go bad in almost every C5 Corvette I've ever heard of, everyone I've ever driven. I've driven several. I've looked at a bunch on Facebook when I was trying to get this car. Every single one of them had the steering column lock failure. You can go on the forums pretty much anywhere. It's the most common problem that you're going to find with this car. If it has not happened to your C5 Corvette yet, it probably is going to happen. So in a way, it kind of is a good thing that happened to me first, because I did fix it. The fix is you go on Amazon, you buy this this little resistor. It costs about 50 bucks. It was designed for this car. And okay, so hopefully I'll get it to, it'll do it this time. So you put in the key, you turn it, everything turns on. Let's see if I can get it to do it. Okay, hatch ajar, I really don't care about that. Door ajar,